You made a mistake. You don't know it yet, but you'll understand in a moment. When you brought the second cat home, your intentions were good. You didn't want her to be alone. You wanted her to have a friend. And now they stand facing each other, eyes narrow, backs arched, voices low. You stand there and think, what have I done? My friend Sandra called me last winter at 11 p.m. crying. Her two cats had fought so fiercely that fur was scattered across the floor. She said, I am giving one of them away. I can't take this anymore. I told her, wait. Please wait, before you do something you'll regret. Because what you see when they hiss and swat is not what you think. It's not hate, it's not war, and you still don't understand what it truly is. I am going to show you 6 things today. And the last one will take your breath away. Let's start with the one that confuses you the most. Picture this. You're sitting on the sofa, coffee in hand, early in the morning. One cat is lying on the rug. The other slowly approaches. Sits down. Begins to groom the other's head with absolute devotion. You lean back, take a deep breath, finally. You think, they love each other. I did the right thing. Wrong. This so-called law grooming, mutual grooming, isn't always about affection. Dr. Ruud van den Bos from Utrecht University documented in long-term observations of domestic cats that the grooming cat is almost always the more socially dominant one. She isn't saying, I like you. She's saying, I am up here. You're down there. Its affection is a display of power. Peaceful, but unmistakable. You saw a hug, but it was actually a very firm reprimand. And then there are those scenes that almost stop your heart. Evening, living room. They chase each other from the sofa across the floor, biting each other's necks. You jump up. You want to intervene. Wait. Look closer. Is fur flying? Do you hear a deep, threatening hiss? If not, then that isn't a fight. That is friendship. Real cat fights are deafening. Fast. Brutal. What you're seeing is something else. They are practicing, but they're holding their claws back. They trust each other so much that they refuse to use their strongest weapons. You wanted to step in, but you would have intruded on the most intimate moment of their relationship. But wait, it goes even deeper than you suspect. Have you ever wondered why they fight over the same spot in the morning? And by evening, they're suddenly lying peacefully in different corners? Dr. John Bradshaw from the University of Bristol, author of the Standard Work Cat Sense, describes this behavior as territorial time-sharing. Cats don't just divide territories spatially, but also temporally. The scratching post belongs to one in the morning, to the other in the evening. They have a schedule, invisible to us, but absolutely clear to them. So when you think one cat is being oppressed, she might just be following the rules. Rules they silently negotiated in the middle of the night, while you were sleeping. And how do they communicate these rules without a single word? You wrinkle your nose. They are intensely sniffing each other's rear ends, again. You look away. But in those few seconds, they are downloading the other's complete profile. Health status, mood, what they ate today, whether they were stressed. It's not an unpleasant ritual, it's the most honest information exchange cats know. A handshake, a hug, a genuine how are you, all rolled into one. When they allow this, it means, I trust you enough to show my vulnerability. And then there's something else, the phenomenon I find most fascinating. Picture this. You bring a loud, boisterous puppy home. The two cats, who chased each other through every room daily. Suddenly they sit close together on top of the closet, shoulder to shoulder. And watch the new enemy below, together. Behavioral scientists call this the common enemy effect, a mechanism deeply rooted in the social behavior of predators. An external threat instantly activates a group identity that was invisible before. Old conflicts are deactivated, the survival of the group takes priority. In that moment, you see for the first time what was true all along. They are a family. Not because they are always harmonious, but because they are there for each other when it counts. When Sandra told me this, about that moment on the closet, she stopped mid-sentence. And then she said, "I think I misunderstood them this whole time." Now comes the sixth sign. The one I mentioned at the beginning. One of the two gets older. Slower. One day she crosses the rainbow bridge. In your pain, you think, at least the other one finally has her peace. You are wrong. The one left behind stops eating. She sits in front of the door of the room where the other one died. For hours, motionless. She is searching. Many veterinarians who regularly accompany farewells report the same thing. Cats who have lost their housemate show measurable symptoms of grief. Loss of appetite, altered sleep patterns, constantly searching in the deceased's familiar territories. She is searching for the scent, the ritual, the daily scuffle for the best spot. The hissing, the chasing, the lurking behind the door. Remember how you thought that was hate? That was her everyday life. Her rhythm, her sign of life. You weren't there when this was built, night after night, month after month. They anchored themselves deeply within each other using this silent language. And now the anchor is gone. The answer to the question of whether you made a mistake, it is not yes. But you overlooked something. The entire time. They showed you that love doesn't require silence. That trust sometimes feels like a bite. That closeness sometimes sounds like a hiss. I sometimes wonder, when I think of Sandra's two cats, what would the one left behind say to the other, if she could? Tell us in the comments. I read every single one. Tonight, when they argue again, when they chase each other, when they hiss. Look at them. Not as two enemies. As two beings who love each other in the only way they know how. And who don't know how much time they have left.